Hi, I'm Michaela Guzzi, and this is an exclusive for Insider Travel Report with Brent Hill from Tourism Fiji, and we are in the Marriott basement in Dallas. Why are we in Dallas?
Okay, so we are in Dallas because yesterday we actually flew in on the first flight from Fiji with Fiji Airways, which is very exciting. So now we have non-stop flights from Fiji to Dallas, which is incredible. And
Three times a week, folks.
Yes. So, and they're really good services. You know, you fly, you depart at night, you arrive in the morning. So, yeah, it's a really good service, definitely.
I always like to say, for those that think that's too long, that's dinner, a movie, you go to bed and you wake up in paradise.
100%. Like it's a snap, really. Like I think, especially given that, you know, this time of year it's really cold and you're flying over to Fiji and it's, you know, nice and warm. And it's really convenient and easy once you get to Fiji. There's no like long travel once you get there. So once you get there, you're pretty much at your resort.
Now, let's talk about Dallas. Certainly this opens up Texas, but this opens up a whole load of the U.S. to get to Fiji.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the idea behind, you know, coming to Dallas is, you know, connecting to the American Airlines network. You know, I believe it's over 170 destinations. You know, there's so many domestic cities, so it's so much easier now for people from the East Coast, from Chicago, you know, all these different parts of America to get to Dallas and then straight over to Fiji. So, you know, from all the discussions with American Airlines, this is going to be a much easier, convenient way for a lot of Americans to get to Fiji, which is great.
Now, you're teasing out some interesting information. Talk about One World and American and Fiji Airways. How does it all go together?
Right. So One World obviously is the, you know, premier grouping of airlines. There's 14 now within that, and then you've also got American Airlines Advantage miles. So for people who are accumulating all their miles on either Advantage or One World, to be able to then go, okay, how do I use my points on somewhere great? Fiji is on Fiji's on the menu, right? So from that perspective, that's, you know, we know that's going to happen because we see that already. We have, you know, Marriotts and Sofotels and so on in Fiji as resorts, and people use their points that they've earned here and come across and use them. So, you know, from that perspective, it's very easy. Fiji Airways is a part of that network, so that makes it incredibly easy for people to, you know, be able to get all their baggage all the way through and use their points as well.
Not that he wants to talk about this, but this also opens the connectivity to the whole like APAC region. So.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like I get that. I mean,
I know he's Fiji.
Yeah. But for Fiji Airways, you know, they are an amazing airline, and people don't realise how far they fly. You know, they fly into Japan, into Tokyo, into Hong Kong, Australia, to New Zealand. So we get that. You know, if people are coming out to our part of the world, you know, 100% come to Fiji for a week, but also connect in and go to Australia or New Zealand as well.
Sharing is caring. Now, let's talk about some of the fun things happening in Fiji.
Yes.
So you have a bunch of new hotels happening. Talk about those.
Yeah, so Fiji's always been known for our, you know, beautiful resorts. We have a new Crown Plaza resort, which is incredible. People are used to Crown Plaza being perhaps more like a business hotel. This is anything but that. It has a beach club called Urban Sugar. It has about 7 restaurants in it, amazing, you know, wellness facilities. It's right on the beach, pools everywhere.
That's opening 2025.
Yes, early next year. So you can stay there now, but the full, complete resort will be finished in about February. We have a brand new Westin, which, again, people in America might often sort of look at a Westin and go, okay, it's a nice hotel. In Fiji, it's going to be unbelievable, like totally 5-star, again, right on the beach, about 280 rooms, middle of the year. That'll open middle of the year. And then we've got our island resorts, and some of those are just absolutely spectacular. It's the true, you know, Fiji that everyone, you know, dreams of. You know, your own private island, amazing reef, etc. So there's some beautiful places like Kokomo and Vomo and so on that have just gone through renovation and got some new features. So you got to check that out.
For shizzle, especially in this cold Dallas weather. I can't wait to go to Fiji. Now, talk a little bit about the on-board experience of the flight itself, because you were on it coming to Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, and I think one of the things is, people who haven't flown Fiji Airways, their expectations are relatively modest. I'm here to tell you, take those up a level. So it's a brand new A350. The plane is beautiful. It's full lay flat. It has all the facilities, a big screen, amazing food. They literally come out and serve you, the minute you get in. So if you're at the front of the plane, it's an amazing experience. Also, of course, in coach is no problem at all. I've flown coach on the long haul with a little one, and it's super comfortable. There's a lot of space. I'm a tall guy. It's really, really, really easy. So we do say that the holiday experience begins on board, and that's because the crew are just so amazing, and they're all Fijian. So Fiji's known for happiness. It starts on board.
Bula, the Bula spirit, which we'll get to in 1 second. But I did want to just make one comment, which is Fiji Airways wins so many awards for good reason, and some of the most notable ones is not only the best airline and best staff consecutive years by Skytrax in 2024. So that's just one of their many, many accolades. Yeah. But let's talk about the Bula spirit. What is that?
Yeah, I mean, it's an amazing thing because, people say, why should I go to Fiji when I've got, the Caribbean or Mexico or Hawaii or Maldives? And the answer simply back is Fijians. In all of those places, you might have a beach kind of experience, but in terms of the service and, everything that you get from the staff, there's just nowhere in the world like the Fijians. They are naturally hospitable. They're known as the friendliest people in the world. They sing, they dance.
And it's not for show.
It's not for show. I mean, it's so hard to describe. You really have to go there to see it. But be prepared to say Bula to almost everybody. And they're just really friendly, happy people. It's just the way they are. They're known, world renowned for that. So it's a place you've got to come, immerse yourself in the culture, and really just let it wash over you. And it's beautiful.
What is the most unique kind of off-the-grid Fijian tradition, where you can really immerse yourself and be like, wow, I've been transported to somewhere so different?
So, there's very few places in the world where you'll get sung to when you arrive and when you leave. And now that might sound like kitschy or they're getting in the way or whatever. You got to remember, you've flown over there, however you arrive, whether or not it's, you drive in or you come in by boat, to then have a group of people who are singing a song to you to welcome you. I mean, it's so beautiful. And then once you've spent time there, you've really enjoyed your time. You've met all these amazing staff, and then they sing the farewell song to you.
You're crying.
Yeah, you're crying. You're crying. Yeah, you're like, oh my God.
Well, I was told, what is it, that you arrive in Fiji as a visitor, but you leave as family.
And it's very true. It's very true. And even the most cynical, hard-nosed person who's I don't want that kind of stuff, they just melt because Fijians are just, so welcoming. And I mean, certainly if you've got a kid, we have a young child, his feet haven't touched the ground for the first year of his life because he just gets carried around. And, that part of travel for families who've got young children that thinking about getting on planes and going somewhere is a nightmare. I can assure you, going to Fiji, it's the best thing ever because they just look after your children from sunrise to sunset and later.
Free babysitting.
Yeah, honestly, it's so good. So
that's interesting you bring that because I have always assumed Fiji is the romance, the honeymoon destination. Right. You're bringing up the family travel, but I also know you have a huge sustainability initiative, and there's a lot of wellness that's coming into Fiji.
Yeah, that's true. So of course, if you're on your honeymoon, it's beautiful. You got to go out to an island, and it's all of what you want in your dreams. But we are seeing a lot more solo travel. We're seeing group travel and that family travel because people have realised just how good it is to be able to know that their kids are safe and being looked after. And on the sustainability side, I think the way we put that is really simple. If we don't look after our islands, we don't have anything to sell. So we rely on our beautiful nature, our beautiful reefs. The water is Fiji water. It's as clear as that. It's a thing. So we've got to preserve that. So that's really important. So some of the stuff that we do is just involving guests in and around that. So things like trying to eliminate, single-use plastic, trying to use renewables as much as possible. So there is a real focus on it.
And you have a new initiative in 2025 that is sustainability forward from all of your resorts.
Right. So I'm sure you've heard of happy hour, So normally, between 5 and 6, you're going to get your half-price cocktails and so on. So what we're introducing is called Laloma Hour, and Laloma is basically a Fijian word that means, caring. So Laloma Hour is just before happy hour. So it's where the hotel provides an option where you as a guest can get involved, and that might be you go out to the farm, to help pick the food for that evening, or it's doing something with a village, or it's doing something with like coral planting or similar. So there's all these great activities and options that people can do. And you know what? It's so fulfilling. It's just really simple things that people can do, planting mangroves, etc. It just gives you that feel good, but it really helps us.
Yeah, regenerative. It leaves a place better than when you found it.
Yeah.
Which is being a good house guest. So.
Yeah, and look, we've got to care for the planet. I think that everybody realises that. So from our perspective, we just want to keep Fiji as beautiful as it is. What
is your favorite thing to do in Fiji?
Okay, so probably for me, the beach clubs and the reef platforms. So just to explain that, you get on a boat, you go out about half an hour, there's a beautiful reef, and then there's this platform that just sits there, it's anchored. And essentially, it's cocktails, it's wood oven pizza, great tunes, and you just while away the afternoon.
Amazing.
It's a dream. And the beach club is on an island. So you have the island to yourself. And when I say island, you can walk around the island in like 20 minutes. So, you pull up there. It's also got an infinity pool. So you just kick back on your cabana. You have great food, great cocktails. And, it's so dreamy. It's
Is that amazing. One of the 333 islands that make up Fiji?
Yeah, that's one of them.
Excellent.
Uninhabited, but it is kind of inhabited, right? Because it's during the day.
It's visited.
Yeah, it's visited.
Daytime only.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you have more news coming in 2025. You have actually a collaboration with someone in Dallas, if you want to talk about it.
Yeah, so obviously for us, being now that we're got the West Coast routes, we have LA, San Francisco, and also Vancouver. But now moving into Texas, we really want to open up, this part of the world to understand what Fiji is all about. So we're partnering with the Dallas Wings, the WNBA franchise, which is really cool. And part of that is that we want to sort of create a bit of a Fiji world at games, so people can look forward to that. We've got an activation here at DFW Airport, so that gives you a little bit of an idea of what it's like to sort of be in Fiji. So. Look, it's great to work with them. They're a fantastic organisation. Women's sport definitely on the rise, and they're really excited to work with us. And we're getting some players over, and we're going to do some really cool stuff together.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then you're hosting the World Surf League final.
Right. I mean, that was incredible. So this year we had the World Surf League Fiji Pro. So we have one of the most iconic surf breaks in the world. It's quite unbelievable. You got to, see it. Like, to be out there. I'm not good enough to surf that wave.
I would die.
But it is seriously good, and it's pristine water, and it's warm. So it's magical. But this year in 25 coming up, we have the World Tour final. So last year it was Kelly Slater's last event, which was pretty cool. And it's his favourite wave in the world, so that was great. But yeah, this year is the final, so we're expecting, a lot of eyes.
And when
particularly
is that?
From it's in September, start of September, end of August. So, the US, Australia, New Zealand, Brazil, all of those markets which are important to us, they'll be watching, which is great.
Awesome. And then coming year, is the 25th anniversary of one of all of our favorite shows.
Right. Yes. So Castaway, with Tom Hanks. You know, the Wilson. You know, with the volleyball. Yeah. I mean, it's such a great movie, and some people sometimes don't know that was filmed in Fiji. I mean, the joke in Fiji is that, you know, when the iconic scene when he leaves, and he's going out in the boat. You know, where it was actually filmed, it literally is about 10 metres from a 5-star resort, so he probably could have just swum there. But, you know, that'd be really,
filmmaking.
Really cool. Yeah. And you know, it's so great. I mean, you know, Fiji has such a heritage with filmmaking. We have Survivor is filmed there, obviously Castaway, quite a few movies, and now Love Island. So we get quite a few, you know, Love Island junkies who come to Fiji just wanting to sort of see where it's all done.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Well, you also have, beyond the surfing and the snorkeling, you also have some land-based adventures, which I was excited to learn about.
Honestly, that's the part that's growing the most, and I think is super exciting. The interior of Fiji, because a lot of people, I think, have this idea of Fiji just being this tiny little flat island, you know, that's very, very small.
Times 300.
Yeah. The main 2 islands are quite big. You know, they'll take you a good day to drive around, maybe more. And you know, quite high mountains. So you think beautiful waterfalls, there's whitewater rafting, there's zip lines. You can go up there on, you know, quad bikes and explore. So it's a super fun experience to get out of your resort and go and explore. That's really what we want people to do.
Well, Bula Brent, I definitely want to go to Fiji. I am Michaela Guzzi with Brent Hill from Dallas for Insider Travel Report.